Oops.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome along. It is season 3, episode 17. It is the Vikings post-game show, and we are joined by Paul and special guest J Tuck. How are things, J Tuck? How are you getting on, sir?
What's going on, everybody? What's going on, Cowboys Nation? I'm moving kind of slow today, man. I went to the Chiefs Monday night game last night and had a few.
I was going to say that, Tuck, because I was wondering because you looked very merry at that game, winding up with that Giants fan.
yeah. It's always a good time out there, Arrowhead, man. So and the fun thing about it is when you go to games that non-Cowboy related, like used to be a fan, like because I don't care who wins, care who loses. So I'm just walking around, talking to people, having a good old time, man. So I'm still in recovery mode today.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Brilliant stuff. So, as we say, it's a post-game show. Paul's turning us off again.
Oh, sorry. I tried to move my screen to the other side. Somehow my mouse ended up clicking on the banner there, so I do apologize, everyone.
So,
Paul's struggling
Victory Polo Tuesday, as usual. Cowboys won 20-16 against the Vikings on Sunday Night Football. At US Bank Stadium, attendance 55,000. How are we both feeling after that result?
Hey guys, Cowboys, it's your boy Uncle B. What's up, Paul? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I feel great, man. Like as a Cowboys fan, you got to be ecstatic about what you see with this team. Everything just feels different. I mean, now me personally, I wasn't a fan of going into the game with Cooper Rush as our starting quarterback. And granted, he did pull it off. He did struggle a little bit. I was just really wanting Dak to be out there, but to see this team really rally around it and pull out the win, which is, I think the Vikings are a decent team. It's a tough road win. Their fan base is crazy, primetime football. And what you're really seeing with this Cowboys team is they're starting to rally around each other. And Mike McCarthy mentioned this today. Like, I think this team really enjoys playing with each other. Like, it's genuine. Yeah. They enjoy it on and off the field. And so you're seeing them really have each other's back. And I think that's what we're starting to see out there on the field because they rallied around Cooper Rush and got the job done. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and you even saw that in the backstage after the game, how Dak goes up to Cooper Rush, and it's that embracement, it's that team bond, and when was the last time we ever seen that within this Cowboys team? It's been a long time. Like you could probably go back to the 2016 season when we first brought Dak and Seakin, where after obviously Romo injured, he was being that team guy, being in the sideline, helping Dak and helping everyone out. But not to this caliber where the defense are there rallying for each other and you've got every offensive guy rallying for each of them as well. So it's just so nice to see.
And it's a testament to Mike McCarthy. I know a lot of Cowboys fans been on the fence about Mike McCarthy, but make no mistakes about it. He is changing the culture with this team because we all know if that was a different regime, we did not win that game on Sunday night. And so Mike McCarthy and his staff, man, I think – Dan Quinn being a player's coach, you're seeing the defense, be excited about playing for Dan Quinn. And it's just a different feel amongst the Dallas Cowboys. And it's on and up from here, man. So I'm excited.
And, well, perfect time for me. I actually get to travel to the States for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah, we're going to have some recovery days coming up here soon.
Honestly, talking, it's going to be one big, regardless win, lose, or draw, it's going to be one massive drinking session. That's all I'm going to say.
I took off work for the next day for all in that Chiefs game because I already know what's going to happen in that game. So it's like, all right, so I'll be prepared. So I know, Paul, we're going to have a good time out there.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely.
But as usual, folks, and it's great to see the comments are already flying in. So make sure if you've any comments, let us know your studs or duds. Let us know your thoughts from the weekend. We'll pull them up there. Paul is already pulling up plenty of them. Why is Lloyd asking me, let me send you over an Oklahoma Sooner shirt? No thanks, Lloyd. I have enough toilet paper as it is. It ain't going to happen, buddy. But as usual, look, send us in your studs and duds, whatever your thoughts are. Andrew, as always, I think we logged in. There was 7 or 8 comments from you. Love it, buddy. So really do appreciate it. We'll
because even before we started the stream, the comments were coming in from Andrew, who's been a long-standing member of the UK Cowboys fans. So big shout out to Andrew Valenti. He's always there and about it. So big shout out to you, my friend.
Yeah, I was having great fun winding up Andrew on the Facebook chat on Sunday night. So it's great to have it. But before we get into the main part of the show itself, so obviously 20-16 victory. We're 6-1. We're leading the NFC East by 3 games. I mean, how many more games we got to win before we wrap up this division?
Probably 2 or 3. I think we can have this division sewn up by Thanksgiving, to be honest with you, if everything goes according to plan.
I mean, at the same time, we can't take things for granted. Like, but I'm still trying to be real about it. Like, we can still never underestimate that there could be that late surge, and like, who knows? Like, there's been teams like, don't forget, like the Seahawks years ago, who were like 2-5. They still managed to make the playoffs and make it to the Super Bowl that year, I believe. So anything can happen, but we just need to make sure that we keep on winning and put the pressure on the rest of those teams in the NFC East. For sure.
And going back to Mike McCarthy, the mindset that you see if you follow players on Twitter, on social media, it's just like 1-0. They don't get too high, don't get too low. It's 1-0. Focus on Denver. So it's a really week-to-week basis. And I know that there's a lot of noise outside, Cowboys fans, Super Bowl this, but it seems like from internally standpoint, the team is just, 1 week, handle your business, and then we'll move on to the next. So they're not thinking, past the Broncos, which is great to see.
It's so funny that you mentioned that, Tuck, because our good friend Brad Sham, the voice of the Dallas Cowboys, actually said that because we were kind of maybe jumping the gun ourselves talking about Super Bowl, and Brad's like, no, listen, you need to take this week by week. Like, anything can happen. Just enjoy the ride. Like, wow, you're absolutely right, because like not to kind of be Mr. Negative, we might have a loss down the line and everything might fall apart, but let's just enjoy it where we can. Hopefully we'll get to the Super Bowl, but let's focus on Denver.
Exactly. I mean, knock on wood. I mean, the Diggs ankle thing, from what I'm hearing, that he's going to be okay. Dak's going to be back. So those little things could definitely swing the course of your season, man. So 1 week at a time, Cowboys Nation.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this is something we've been saying all along so far this season, Tuck, is the bond with the team. As you alluded to earlier, Paul, the reaction from Dak, there doesn't seem to be any egos on the team anymore. It's very much everyone together. We're all pulling for the victory, and everyone's trying to improve. I don't know if it was you, Paul, that sent in the message earlier into our group chat, and you were saying, that Micah Parsons was in early. He was disappointed with how he got on in the Patriots game in early. There we go. I think that's it. Yeah. And as DJ Dog said, he showed up at 6 o'clock yesterday morning for training. That's the type of guys we have.
That is a testament of determination, wanting to win, and just willing to improve. Like, that's just one guy, but that can set an example for other players in the building. Like, that is leading by example right there from Parsons, and this is coming from a rookie. Rookie, remember? I mean, the sky's the limit for him right now.
Yeah, exactly. Because we people have to understand, the Cowboys didn't have practice yesterday; they were off. So Mike McCarthy gave them the day off to see that Micah Parsons was still active, going to the facility, getting in his training, getting his work. And that's the one thing we said a lot about Micah Parsons going into the draft and after the draft. He's just a true competitor. Like, he wants to win. We saw it on Hard Knocks, whether it's playing the shooting game, losing to, Jordan Lewis that they're doing with the laundry room. It's like, he just wants to compete. He wants to win. And that's a contagious type of mindset that can transcend throughout not only the defense, but just the locker room. So I definitely love it, because it's definitely a new type of mindset when it comes to the Cowboys Nation.
Yeah, very true. And I think that again, Randy Gregory was also awesome on Sunday night. Mightn't have had, say, the numbers from the previous game, but he was causing havoc.
Brian, what have I been keep telling you about Randy Gregory? Get him in a new contract right now. Yeah. Seriously, before it's too late. Yeah. Before his price increases. Yeah. Because we need to think about a salary cap as well. Like, if we can get him on a deal right now, then great.
Right. Yesterday's price is
Yeah.
not today's price, and the longer we wait, like, okay, now let's wait till Randy Gregory has a 15 sack season. He's a all pro defensive end. Then let's try to work out it. Like, no, work it out now, because Randy Gregory's playing outstanding. And the thing that I love most about Randy Gregory in the Vikings game, when he had those 2 penalties kind of called, like, he just got ticked off. It's like, know what? I'm gonna blow things up, and he got in the backfield and almost made the play. Like, you can see the type of caliber of player that Randy Gregory is, where he can really just take over a game at any moment. And it's really going to be exciting when we get DeMarcus Lawrence back, which I know we heard some news that he could be back to either this week or next week for practice. And so that's when it really becomes spooky season with this defense.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the sky's the limit with the defense right now. It's like there's so many positives going forward. Like especially when like, and I know I keep using this as a reference, but when you can really compare it to last season, and like there's nothing much else that we can really say. It's like it's like turning over a new leaf. It's like it's a completely different team.
And if I had to say there was one silver lining in Dak actually being out, was that the defense knew that it was going to be on their tab. Like, they could not let the Vikings score 30+ points and we could still win the game. And so they really rallied together, man, and played well. And I feel like it was the defense's best game thus far this season, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to mention a certain defensive tackle that Paul really loves, but I think J-Tuck, as you say, one of the big things from Sunday night was our third down conversion rate, or stoppage rate, effectively 1 of 13. That was it. We only allowed 1 third down completion. You know, that number alone, I think it's the 6th lowest. It's either in the 6th lowest in Cowboys history or in NFL history, if I read that correctly.
Yeah, outstanding game Sunday for the defense.
Yep,
it was.
So, but just to add on top of that, we were actually having the biggest of Cowboy haters actually ranking them number 1 this week. Stephen A. Smith. Yeah. How much that must have hurt him, and you saw Marcus Spears' reaction to that. He was like, huh? He had to get his cell phone out and try to actually take a photograph. And I was like, I'm a bit shocked myself, because like when the hell did the biggest hater of them all decide to give us the number 1 ranking?
Well, if you watch Monday, and like, I really don't watch the show, but I see clips on Twitter all the time. Michael Irvin gave Stephen A. the opportunity to hop on the Cowboys bandwagon. He says, time only, if you bend down and kiss, bend the knee. And Stephen A. was like, I'm not going to do it. But today, he has us as his number 1 team in the NFL. So it was like, oh, maybe he's trying to get on board. But nah, the seat's full, man. Seats can't sit here. Seats taken.
Yeah, that's an interesting call from Lloyd there in terms of Mike Zimmer. You know, I can kind of see where he's coming from with it.
That's the thing, because when you really look at the Vikings offense, especially like the players they've got Jefferson, they've got Phelan, they've got like Cook, and even their backup running back is pretty decent as well. Like, I suppose Kirk Cousins, I mean, on his good day, Kirk Cousins can be absolutely lethal. But we all know he can throw the interception. But this should still cause an absolute dent in your defense. But we still managed to suppress them and cause absolute havoc, gave them lots of trouble, and we shut down Jefferson quite a lot. And I mean, I tend to agree. I think Simmer could be potentially in the hot seat after that game. Yeah.
I mean, granted, I'll take it because I'm a Cowboys fan, but there is no reason that they really should have lost that game. And I felt like, from the coaching standpoint, like, they took their foot off the pedal. Like, they opened up, they were opened things up down the field. We were getting penalties and flags and Thielen, and all of a sudden they just eased up a little bit. I mean, they didn't get heavily involved in the run game, and so it was a poorly coached team. Decision making, clock management, using the back-to-back timeouts, like just those little things. Like, you shouldn't see that from an NFL coach with Zimmer's pedigree. And so, if I'm a Vikings fan, I would definitely be livid, which I'm sure they was.
Yeah, I mean, like from a perspective of a Vikings fan, I think that run play from Zeke before we actually got that winning touchdown, I would be really mad at it, because that was 4 players Zeke ran through.
Right.
I mean, it's like, at least 2 of them should have brought him down before. Like, it was 3rd and 11 as well. 3rd and 11.
But the beast mode of Zeke to think I'm just gonna go through, because I was thinking, I was like, okay, here we go, let's go for the field goal.
Show the hoodie, show the hoodie, man, show the
hoodie. Feed Zeke, man, feed Zeke. And I was like, okay, it's gonna be short. Because I was thinking, like, are we gonna go for the field goal? Are we gonna go for it? Like, what was gonna be the next play? And all of a sudden, Zeke just busted through like 4 people. And honestly, he should have scored. Like that last tackle, pretty much saved it. But he was going to get into the end zone. So it just shows the determination from Zeke. Like, hey, the ball's in my hands. I'm going to make something happen. And him and Amari Cooper both made special plays to really save the game.
That run was just pure power. That was a pure powerful, like even after tackle, you can see how it was just powerful. Just try to get his foot on the ground and really like drive through regardless. And don't know if this is going to be much of a comparison. Like, I suppose you can never comparison to the all-time great Emmitt Smith, but it was very close to what he used to do when he did emulate the power run that Emmitt used to do.
Yeah.
Like, but I was like, holy shit. And excuse me, sorry for cussing there, but I had to say it. But I was like, God, we're winning this. After that play, it's like we've got this.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, my take after that play, it was like, okay, we'll give the ball right back to him and score. But it shows the confidence that of Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore and Cooper Rush to actually, because when Cooper Rush dropped back, I almost had a heart attack. But they go back and they kind of played the audio, and you hear Amari Cooper speaking about that situation. I guess that CeeDee Lamb wanted that final play, and he tried to reverse it, and Amari Cooper was like, hell no, like, I want this. So it shows like they knew that they were going to score on that play, and they were kind of going back and forth about who was going to get it. But Amari definitely stepped up and made the play, man, and great win.
He was outstanding, but not zero drop passes.
Yeah,
man,
Cooper's just lights out.
And again, it just goes to show that they all want the ball, but there's no ego from anyone about not getting it. So long as everybody wins, they don't care, and that's wonderful to see.
They joked about it. CeeDee Lamb didn't throw his helmet after. Just like, all right, let me get it. And Mark Cooper's like, no, you're not. So that shows it. Like, we got a lot of talent, but it's rare when you have supreme talent with no ego.
It's very rare.
Yeah,
very
I mean, and that's the cool part. And we got more talent coming soon off the injury reserve. So,
yeah. So we're just going to jump into the news and updates. So obviously today is trade deadline day. It doesn't look like there's going to be any activity inwards or outwards from the Cowboys. Didn't expect anything to happen. A couple of things coming out of the game. So Cooper Rush's touchdown to Amari Cooper was the first time we had the first name of the thrower and the surname of the receiver happen in NFL history. And it also happened last season where we had the surname of the thrower and the first name of the receiver being the same when Andy Dalton threw Dalton Schultz. So yeah, so a bit of scoregami at the weekend. Jabril Cox is down for the season with an ACL injury, which is unfortunate. Bradley Anai has been waived today. Kelvin Joseph was active for Sunday, and I think we do have Michael Gallup, Neville Gallimore, and Tank all within the next 3 weeks coming back. They're all returning to play. So I think maybe the cutting of Bradley and I is to make room for someone else to come back in, or maybe two, obviously, with Jabril Cox also dropping out.
Because also got to add in Tristan Hill too. Mike McCarthy mentioned he should be coming soon as well.
So I think that's the reason why we've the two guys out. So
Buonasera, Joe. Buonasera.
So there have been a few trades around the league around the deadline. I mean, obviously Von Miller is capturing all the headlines. Anything that you guys have seen over the past couple of days that or anything you want to see?
Yeah, a very interesting one in regards to the Saints is that Philip Rivers actually came out and says, I've not been approached, but if I was approached, I'd be open to joining. Like, I was like, what the hell? It's like, has he even actually even done any off-season training? I know he's retired, but has he actually done anything?
Just off the couch, man. Just off the couch.
Yeah, man. And obviously we've seen the unfortunate. Well, it is unfortunate news because he's a former Cowboy. We've seen that Jalen got released, but we wish nothing but the best for Jalen. I hope he does get another team will come pick him up. But it's I think that the reason for that was due to Bakari, the tackle for Green Bay. Bakhtiari, sorry. Yep. Trying room to bring him in and room for like a possible trade for deadline. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate for Jalen, but we wish him all the best and hopefully he'll find somewhere else to play.
So from what I've heard from people I talked to, it sounds like it was mutual. Just like you said, they wanted to make room for the defensive tackle. Now, Cowboys fans, don't throw tomatoes at me, but there could be a possibility where he might return. I think the hard part that's trying to be worked out is, so how does the contract work? Because he had the $9 million guaranteed for this year. He was paid, I think, like $250,000 from Green Bay. So if he comes back, would you have a dual contract situation? But Jalen does reside in Dallas. We do need linebacker depth. And so I'm from the standpoint, do I think he's going to come back? No, but from the Cowboys standpoint, it's like you're already paying for it. So I would much have a player that I'm paying $9 million for just on my roster, just to use for depth. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that happens. But
yeah, I mean, I saw a few comments like that myself, and like I'm not against it. Like I know, like there's been times where I have been critical of Jalen. Like it's not like I'm hating on Jalen. It's just like come on, like it feels always like there's the other backers that we've got are obviously superiorly better, like Parsons and Cox and stuff like that. But still, like Jalen knows the playbook, so that to him is already an advantage. So if we can still get him back, like if we were to get him back, then it would have to be a even super team friendly deal,
right? It would have to be something weird, yeah. But I mean, with Jabril Cox out, I mean, we wasn't even utilizing Jabril Cox at the linebacker position. Now we really have Micah Parsons, we have LVE, who we have to cross fingers for every down he plays, Keanu Neal. And then that linebacker room that we had so much depth with going into the season gets kind of thin because you got to go to Francis Bernard or Gifford. And I would say that I would probably trust to have Jalen Smith back there versus Francis Bernard out there on the field. So
I was you mentioned the word Gifford, like he's been killing it in the special teams for that. I don't know if you may have seen some of the plays he made. He absolutely pancaked 2 Vikings in a row. And I was like, wow, if he can do that, if he was in the linebacker position, then I would have no problem with that. But we just haven't seen enough of him getting rotated in enough. So I don't know if that may be the plan of action, but again, we just need to kind of wait. We just need to wait and see what the Cowboys staff do with regards to accommodating him with the loss of Jabril Cox. But
even if it's not Jalen, I feel like we do need to look at somebody to add another layer of depth at the linebacker position. Now, granted, we've been playing a lot of big nickel and having Jaron Kearse and Donovan Wilson and Casey and Hooker on the field at the same time, but in those running downs where you really just need 3 core linebackers, it's a lot better having a guy, because I just personally feel like LVE and Keanu Neal haven't been playing their best football thus far. So
yeah, I would very much agree with that take. I think the other kind of interesting trade that happened was the Melvin Ingram one for a 6th rounder. Did that interest any of you, or would it be too rich?
I would, for a 6th round pick, you have to consider it. And now there was conversations that the Cowboys did try for Von Miller, but every time there's a trade made, we always hear the Cowboys try. I tried.
I'm blaming our boy Nix for that one. By the way, he got me hooked on that one. Sorry, Dad. I'm blaming Nix. If you're watching right now, I'm blaming you for that.
So I mean, the Cowboys try. So it looks like they were in the market for a pass rush to be able to go and get Ingram for a 6th round pick. You definitely have to consider it, but I don't know why the Cowboys didn't pull the trigger, because I would definitely have been all for it to get that caliber player to bring in. But from our perspective as well, we do have a lot of pass rushers on this team already. I mean, Chauncey Golson, which is one of my favorites in the draft, he's playing lights out. We're getting to Marcus Lawrence. You have Basham. You have, Dorrance Armstrong. He just came back last week. And so it's kind of clustered there, but I would have definitely considered it for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah, the one thing I was quite surprised about, and it was the coaching decision, and I might be trying to go left field, was to bring in Justin Hamilton, because they feel as though he was the best fit against whoever the center was for. Is it Kings, Bradbury or something?
I think so. Bradbury,
Garrett Bradbury, is it?
That's the one. Yeah. So they've had did the research on the center, and they tend to think like the type of player that Justin Hamilton is, and I know I hate to use PFF as a grade and stuff like that, but he was highly right. He was out in the 90s, Justin Hamilton, and he was only like 1% behind Aaron Donald. So, and he did cause absolute disruption within the middle of that field. So, fair play. So, it just shows you, like, even within our practice squad, they're coming in and contributing so much. And that's from the defensive line point.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So we're almost half an hour into the show, and I think it's time we throw it over to, I'm just looking for it. Our offense. So I think we've gotten almost half an hour into the show, and we've barely mentioned Cooper Rush. What a job he did on Sunday.
Hats off to Cooper Rush.
Absolutely, yeah. And what was more beautiful was just seeing how his family were reacting right after the game. I was like, oh, man, if that was my son playing, I would have been that proud myself. Yeah, like fair play. Like he had his critics, even when he went to New York. He didn't feel he was good enough, but he actually stepped up to the plate.
Cooper Rush, it was a great moment for him and his family. Now, Cowboys Nation, let's be honest. It still wasn't, the most impressive thing. Like, there were some balls that were sailing a little bit. I mean, the play that Amari Cooper made, that should have been an interception to hit the Vikings corner right in the chest. And, but it was good to show that the Cowboys had great confidence in Cooper Rush, because if you would have told me he was going to throw over 30 plus times in the game, I'm like, there's no way. There's going to be a lot of Zeke, a lot of Pollard, but it shows the confidence that the Cowboys had in him, and the reason why he's the quarterback too, because I know Jerry had mentioned he knows every play. He could run the entire playbook because he's been with the team, but I didn't think, just from a standpoint, but me personally, I would still like to go get another backup quarterback still. Like, it luckily sounds like it's going to be one game that Dak is going to be missing, but if it had to be extended time, I'm not sure, how we would fare with Cooper Rush, but it was a cool story though.
Yeah. I mean, I know we brought in Will Greer. I don't know if that's going to last any time long. I don't know if he's just there as the extra body in case of any scenario, whatever. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, do we still see Cooper Rush being like a long-term backup solution to that? Maybe not. It's really hard to say now, but from that performance alone, like you said, there were still mistakes, but like Valenti there just made the comment, he slowly grew it into the game, got a lot more confident, got more used to it, and the passes were flowing at the tail end of the game. So
when it was time, when it was game time, he stepped up, and that's the most important time. Absolutely. And also, it's nice to see how Mike McCarthy has done with these backup quarterback situations. I mean, even going back to last year with almost beating the Steelers and remaining competitive with Garrett Gilbert, and then remaining competitive versus the Eagles with Ben DiNucci. And so it shows the difference of what Mike McCarthy's able to do versus, like I said earlier, the old regime. We could have just chalked up a lot.
It's funny that you mentioned Garrett Gilbert. I was one of the advocates. I really wanted Garrett Gilbert to make the team, but I'm kind of like, well, I'm glad I'm kind of proven wrong in that case after witnessing what happened in preseason. It just clearly shows that game may have been just one of those nights he was just absolutely spot on, and when it really came out to try and make the team, it just wasn't really happening for him. So, but just gotta trust the process of how the Cowboys do their team selection, and so far, like,
it's working.
like not even from the offensive point of view, but just from the whole team perspective. Every player that we brought in, Terce, like everyone, like again, in comparison to last season, like everyone that we brought in have contributed. So
yeah. And because, like I said, Cowboys fans are so used to being helicopter fans. Like every little decision we got, we just like hovered over our coaching staff because we've been burnt so many times. But if we now like looking at the staff and how things have worked out this season, it might be time to stand back a little bit, just a little bit, Cowboys Nation, and just trust this team, trust Mike McCarthy, and they're going to do what's best. Now, and we'll probably talk about it here soon. This Lyle Collins situation is still like, I try not to step in the kitchen, but it's like, okay, are you sure you're not putting too much salt in there with this thing? But I'm trying to trust the coaching staff. It's going to be a work in progress.
No, I totally agree. The Lyle Collins situation, I can understand they're trying to make a point. I totally get that because just like what he did was like. At first, I thought, before the announcement of why he was suspended, I was like, it made no sense. Like, you can't suspend a player based on 5 games based on the NFL protocols because it only went like 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. There was nothing for 5 at all. I was like, they just made this up. So it's just them just coming at us again, like the NFL, the known fun league, just coming after Cowboys as usual. Until we found out it was all to do with I can't even remember the exact reason what it was, but it was like
bribery or something.
Yeah, yes. Like, and I was like, oh come on, Lyle, like you're better than that. Come on. So I can understand that, but from the Cowboys coaching staff, they're like, really, come on.
But see, that's my thing though, because when you read the transcripts from court, it was in a jokingly manner, like because Dak was a part of it too, like man, just pay you a little money, and it wasn't like he really tried to bribe him. Because like I said on Twitter, if Lyle Collins has the money to really, really bribe you, if he wanted to, and so it sounds like it was a joking matter, but sometimes jokes get taken too far.
Yeah,
but 5 games suspension. He's been out. He's learned his lessons. He's lost money. He's losing $10 million on his contract. Like that's more than enough punishment. Can we get back to having our best offensive line back there on the field? You would assume so. But Terrence still has played decent, but he doesn't give us the upside value that Lyle Collins provides. And I know the conversation was possibly about moving him to guard, Lyle to guard, replacing Connor Williams. Okay, I was kind of hearing that theory, but Stephen Jones came out and said, no, absolutely not. Like, he's not going to be starting at left guard. So I'm like, okay, well, he needs to be doing more than being a wishbone fullback on 2 occasional series. Like, we need Lyle Collins on the field. So I'm not sure how this whole situation is going to work out.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones. It's just going to have to. We're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen. But you're totally right. Like I would feel a lot more comfortable with Al be in the squad because he just has that dominating presence, especially in the tackle position. He does give that extra cover, but you still need to give Terrence Steele absolute credit. He's done a stellar job. Which again, when you compare, I know I keep comparing it back to the last season, but from it's just the end night, completely different player. Terrence has obviously had a really good off season, build up his strength, build up his mass, put on the extra weight that he had to because when you compare him last year, he did look undersized. He was getting pushed back all the time. He looked a bit slow, but now it feels as though like he's really stepped up this game, but. He's now the fact that he's really given up really anything really when you really look at the stats.
Yeah, I mean he's been decent, but like I said, he's no Lyle Collins. It'll be like, well, if we run 3 games with Cooper Rush, like we're gonna keep the continuity and keep like, no, man, like Cooper Rush, though he's played, it's not Dak Prescott. Like if Titus Necky plays well, he's never going to be Tyron Smith. Terrence Steele, there's never going to be Lyle Collins. Like there's just different levels, and so but I'm staying out the kitchen for now.
But and the biggest positive note. It's the biggest worry I had about this season was the depth of our offensive line. Now, not so much anymore. I feel comfortable that whoever can fit in now, can still do a decent job and still protect Dak and still open up those gaps for Zeke. Like it seems to be a lot more plug in and play now rather than it's like putting in a bit of. I'm trying to think of a really good metaphor here, but I'll think of something. But basically, you're putting in a plaster, or a band-aid on something, and it keeps peeling off, and it's leaking out. So yeah, I can't even really think of anything at the top of my head, but you get the point, though.
Right.
Yeah. So just bringing up a comment here, and I know a couple of people have been asking this: can he play the other side if Smith wasn't available? Tyron played all of his college career at left tackle for LSU, so he can play the position, but having to switch over from right side to left side, you're having to take it away and tell us what happened to.
Completely different ball game. When I was playing offensive line, right? Don't get me wrong, I was a very extremely undersized offensive lineman, right? But playing from left to right is a completely different ball game. You're going to have to readjust your kick steps, your the vision in terms of the blocking assignments. It completely changes. And obviously, every player has a preference. Like, you've always got your strong hand and your lead hand. Like, it's the same in boxing, southpaw, that, like, whatever, not. But for me, I always prefer playing on the left because I felt more comfortable. But for the pros, they will have their preferences. Like, like you don't ever see Zach Martin playing on the left side. Never. Like, like you could probably play the left arm, but probably not as effective compared to being on the right, because the stance is more key thing as well. Taking your first step. Like, if your lead foot forward is the more powerful step, then you don't lose power when you take up the. Sorry, if your free foot, if your lead foot is the more powerful foot, that's where you're going to launch off with for your first step. So that's vitally important. But if that's the back foot, you're not going to gain as much leverage going up from underneath the pads. So that
it makes a difference.
Makes a huge difference. It's like you try to get up, like, especially if it's a run block, like you taking that like half a yard step difference is all it needs. If you can try and gain as much yards with that first step, getting that defensive lineman's face, that will make every bit of difference. So yeah, that's all I've got to say in that.
So, but I would much rather have him just on the field trying that versus being on the sidelines.
I know.
So I'd rather have a 75 overall Lyle Collins left tackle versus him just standing on the sidelines. But it sounds like Ty Smith is going to be ready to play on Sunday, from what I've been hearing.
He is, yeah. He'll be ready to roll. But I mean,
I was just trying to add on top. Oh, sorry. I was just trying to add on top what Top was just saying there. It's like, the difference between what I was doing was amateur, but with the pros, they should be able to adapt regardless. So I totally agree with what you're saying there, Talk. Absolutely. So it should be like, wherever are you in line, you should always be ready for whatever the worst case, like not worst case now, but you should always be ready to be put in a position that you're not expected to play in. Like, so yeah, I totally agree. Sorry, Brian.
And like, without getting too much into the game against the Broncos, I can't imagine you're not going to see Lyle playing in that game. The pass rush from the Broncos is too good to have him sitting on the sidelines for the whole game.
Well, we've now got a bonus that Von Miller's no longer there now.
Right.
Yeah.
So that definitely takes a good like a puncher's check. Well, not a puncher's. Again, I'm terrible with my metaphors tonight. Jesus. But you get what I mean, folks. You get what I mean. But we stand a better chance without Von Miller in their team right now. So
yeah. But we might see Von Miller down the line in the playoffs. So
yeah, I'm certain that.
But Mike brought the point up a couple of times. Signature game for Amari Cooper. I mean, how is this guy still so underrated? That when the talk of the top 5 wide receivers in the league, he's never in it.
It's us. It's Cowboys Nation. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Everyone hates us, so that's why. Yeah. It's it's the same with what's his name? Sean Merriman called Dak Prescott never elite. If he was earning $30 million, it's like the worst decision that's ever been made. Well, sucks to be you, Sean Merriman. Sucks to be you.
Right. And that's what it is. Like, what's the real problem when it comes to Amari Cooper? Like, he scored a game-winning touchdown and didn't dance. He didn't run into the crowd and do a backflip. Like, he just does his job. And it's like, I compare Amari Cooper to, he reminds me a lot like this Tim Duncan type approach. Like, he doesn't have to be all loud and elaborate, but he's still one of the best to ever play the game. And a lot of people, even Cowboys fans, they don't see the value of what Amari Cooper really brings to this team. Whether the defense is having to roll coverage to his side to open up plays for Cedric Wilson or CeeDee Lamb, like Amari Cooper is elite of the elite when it comes to being a wide receiver. And you're starting to see him be a little bit more vocal, but like start to own it a little bit, because I heard this interview on 105.3 The Fan. He's like, I want to be one of the greatest. So when I'm hurt, like when he was in Minnesota, like rubbing it out with a softball or a tennis ball. Now, I don't know why he was doing that himself, but where was the medical staff? But he wanted to get back out there on the field to be out there for his team and make these type of plays. And so he's a competitor. He's a tough guy, and he's the lead of the elite when it comes to the wide receiver. And it's one of the best trades the Cowboys have made in Cowboys history. Damn near.
I totally agree. And here's the thing, right? The deep, like, this goes towards the more corporate media within the NFL. They keep saying Odell, Beckham, and whoever on that. Listen, like, yeah, he's still a top elite receiver, but he's hardly played. It's like, how can you put that title of elite if he's not really playing? Same with Julio Jones. He's not the same player as he used to be. Like, Cooper's going up, but I mean, just because it's just because that, like, Cooper, he's a really soft, laid back guy. Like, it's not all about bravado. He just goes in, does his job. That's it. Because he's not like a remarkable wide receiver like your Antonio Browns or like OBJs. There's not enough headlines to talk about him. I think that might play a factor into it, but you still cannot you can't use media attention to define a player's career like that. You know, like, from what Amari Cooper has done, it's just nothing but exceptional, like above and beyond for what we got in that trade. It's like, it's like Raiders. It's like Raiders fans, you must be mad, like, honestly.
So moving on, and the other wide receiver during the game that deserves a lot of credit, Cedric Wilson. One receiving touchdown, 35-yard pass. I've seen quarterbacks throw worse passes than that.
That pass was beautiful.
His passes are looking better than Cooper Rush, if you're going to be honest. Like, let's be honest. Like, I'm like, well, maybe we should give him a few more snaps at quarterback. But Cedric has been lights out.
Perfect spiral, good speed.
On the run,
It's like, oh man, that's right. It was on the run as well, and he was wearing gloves. Was he not wearing gloves as well?
Yeah, because it was almost a blown play, and like he just made something happen and just threw a strike. It was like,
I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it.
Yeah. I mean, the question myself and Paul were saying this took just before you joined us before the show. I mean, have the Cowboys a decision at the end of the season to make between himself and Michael Gallup? Because we can't imagine that Michael Gallup will be able to re-sign Michael Gallup. The money he'll garner in free agency. Is Cedric Wilson just as good of an operator?
Yeah, I think so. In the scheme of things for our offense, I believe he fits us a little bit better than Michael Gallup. Now, that's no knock to Michael Gallup. Cannot wait till he gets back on the field here in a few weeks or maybe this Sunday. But I don't think Michael Gallup is going to be a re-sign. But for this season, we have a real question to ask, because the hard part with Cedric Wilson, he is the perfect slot wide receiver. Like, he just fits in there, simple plug and play. And we know how Dak loves the slot wide receiver. So he fits that mold more. Versus Michael Gallup is going to be more of an outside guy. So then, I mean, granted, it's going to be nice to shift CeeDee Lamb inside and have him playing the slot, or Amari Cooper playing the slot on your third best corner. But I just think for the simplicity of things, I think Cedric Wilson just fits what we're doing here in Dallas, like, perfectly. And then we do have other Michael Gallups-esque type players that we drafted in Simeon Fiogo and, Ingles and Turner, like, that can do that big play down the field thing. But for this season, it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. But I think next year we'll move on from Michael Gallup, and Seth will be the guy that remains.
As much as I hate to admit that, because I love Michael Gallup to bits, but I do think it's now looking more likely that we're going to move on from. Because like you're saying, like we just don't know what in terms of like how much we would be willing to offer Gallup.
Yeah, and Michael Gallup isn't a quarterback. He doesn't have the arm. So
Yeah.
Cedric Wilson.
Yeah.
There you go. Get a 2 for 1 instead.
There we go.
Yeah, but like in the free agency, there's going to be more teams going to offer more money that we're going to offer Gallup for sure, and especially with how wide receivers, like especially for deep routes right now, are like in need right now.
Yeah, and I think again, Zeke had another under the radar, very good game. I mean, obviously, we spoke about the catch at the end where he, converted the 3rd and long, but he was pass blocking, he was picking up the blocks, and they weren't easy blocks. You're not going to see every running back in the league take those things on. The box was stacked, so 16 attempts, 50 yards, but it's just Zeke getting himself back. I don't think he would have made the 1st down last year.
No,
and that's all down to what he's done.
Yeah. And I think people get caught up in, fantasy football. And they look at Ezekiel Elliott like, 16 carries for 50 yards. But if you watch the full body of the game, you know the importance that Zeke meant to this team. Protecting Cooper Rush and not getting Cooper Rush, sacked 100 times. Because the play where Xavier Woods blew up Cooper Rush, like that was Tony Pollard's responsibility. He missed out on. So people really don't see the importances of what Zeke brings to this offense. They just want the numbers. But the extra yards on 3rd down, get the 1st down, the play that we've been talking about so frequently, like Zeke has done his job and he's done it at a high level. And I think it's a testament to his training in the offseason, and just his focus and commitment is a lot different than what we saw from last year. And you're seeing that on the field.
Yeah, just to bring up Mike's comment, you already commented on this earlier, and I totally agree. Like, a lot of Zeke's best plays is not necessarily the run rushes, it's actually been the pass blocking, given that extra bit of protection for Dak and for Cooper Rush during the Vikings game there.
But that's not the sexy stuff, man. You can't post a highlight video of Zeke's best pass blocks on YouTube. Like no one's gonna watch that. Like,
no. It's like, I love a good cut block when I see one.
You like the dirty, gritty stuff, man.
Absolutely. I'm a layman.
You like the trenches, man. But a lot of fans I'm not gonna watch that, man. They want Zeke leaps and all the fun stuff. But Zeke has been tremendous in pass protection and just all around, man. A great all around season thus far for Zeke and Pollard. Smash and dash, man. Smash and dash.
Brilliant. So, anything else on the offense before we move along, or is there anything that we haven't covered?
I generally thought our tight ends had a generally quiet game. I thought they would have been utilized a lot more, being perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But
I think again, you were probably looking at them more in pass protection, and it just wasn't a game to get them involved in. Like you saw. It was
more so in red zone that more than anything. But I think it's just one of those games we just adapted to how the Vikings were playing. And again, I think this is all down to credit to Dan Quinn, down to Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy, is that we just seem to adapt so well in the game situations now. We overcome in the first half and come back with a vengeance. We saw that on multiple occasions this season already.
Think about it. What you're really seeing is the depth really have an impact on the season. Michael Gallup goes down. We're like, oh my God, we lose Michael. And then all of a sudden, Cedric Wilson emerges, right?
D-Law, remember?
Right. And now it's like, do we even need so, and then you have Gallimore go down. You're like, oh my God, what did we do? Well, then you have Osa emerge, right? So you're just seeing the depth. Terrence Steele, Zach Martin goes out with Colt. Like, you're seeing the depth of this team, which is something that's new for Cowboys fans. We never really had depth. It was just one guy out, and like Sean Lee would go out or Tyron Smith would go out. Well, there's the season. Like, it's done. But now you're seeing players really step in. And Mike McCarthy was preaching that message all camp and all off season was it takes 72 guys, or however he kept naming. Like, it really takes everybody on this roster, practice squad and everything to go to ultimately where we're trying to go. And you're seeing that on the field.
I just had to bring this comment from Mike there. He says, also 78% voted on our Twitter that the Cowboys have the best and second best quarterback in the NFC East.
Right.
Oh, I think I actually saw a wee infographic the other day that they put, like, obviously Jalen Hurts at last, but they've actually put Jason Garrett ahead of Jalen Hurts. I was like, he's not even played in like 20 years, but he's still ahead of Jalen Hurts.
Heck, with Cedric Wilson, we might have the top 3.
I think Cedric Wilson was number 5.
I think Washington would probably use Cedric Wilson at quarterback, man. So
I did think there was one more thing. Do we want to see the 7 linemen in again and running a wishbone?
Ooh.
It was cute, but me personally, I am not a fan of the McGovern at fullback experiment, or even Lyle Collins, because I feel like what happens is if McGovern doesn't get through the hole, what it creates is a huge, massive log jam for Zeke to get through. So it's either McGovern gets the block and creates the running lane, or it's another big 360-pound lineman in Zeke's way that he can't get around. So, I mean, granted, they're not going to probably use Nick Ralston, but personally, I would like to maybe move Schultz or maybe Jarwin back, and so that was a little bit more sneaker to give Zeke more of a window, because I've seen it where it's worked and like, okay, it looks great, but then Connor McGovern doesn't get through it, so now you're just like the Great Wall of Dallas times 2. You can't really get through it. So, you know, it was cute to kind of see him involved in Lyle Collins, but
I like that reference there. I like that one.
And so like, it's like a massive wall. Like, what is Zeke supposed to do with Connor McGovern stuff in the hole? But I mean, it was cute to see Lyle and McGovern back there, man. But personally, I think it was a slap in the face for Lyle that give him 2 gadget plays, and that was it. Like, you're talking about an all-pro caliber right tackle. Like, let's use him in a little bit more efficient ways. But
Mike, we don't want to see, we don't want to raise John Madden from the grave, going back to the commenting booth after that. But what if we had a fullback handover like McGovern rumble one in? We all love a big man run.
And that's what we need to see versus Dak keep getting shortchanged on the goal line, because apparently Dak has to get all the way to the goalpost for a touchdown to count. Like, just turn around and hand it to Lyle Collins or Connor McGovern on the goal line and let them fall forward. So, like, I would like to see that more, but, you know.
Yeah, I think it will be more based if it's like a within 10 yards of the goal line scenario. I think that is more likely where we're ever going to ever. I never would imagine using that like if we're like 40 yards from the end zone or something like that. It wouldn't make sense. But if it's in goal line where you know that it's going to be more condensed, then you want to put more brute force and try and like put your more strongest guys up front against their strongest and see who's going to win the battle and pushing whoever back. So I get that.
Yeah,
so
because they've used like Connor McGovern like as kind of like a tight end as well as a tackle eligible. So Kellen Moore has been creative to get McGovern on the field, and I mean, I guess Lyle possibly moving forward. So you see the creativity of it, but will it be consistent? And I'm okay. So
yeah.
I would prefer to run the wishbone with actually 3 running backs, like have Pollard, Zeke, and another running back
Corey
there.
Clement.
And really college it out, man. But
oh god, can you imagine? Oofed.
So 55 minutes into the show, time to flip it over. So let's talk defense.
Oh, my favorite part.
Your favorite part, Paul. And I don't think we can start anywhere other than with Micah Parsons.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was the Micah Parsons show.
Yeah, it was. And it was good to see him grow, because I know I've been vocal about wanting to see him play off the edge, but it shows his focal point has been becoming better at the linebacker position, and just see what he's able to bring to this team. And so, he was flying, man, making plays. It's everything that we wanted Micah Parsons to be going into the draft and after the draft. And the scary part, he's still learning He's still learning, and it's only going to be up from here. But we're going to see our version of a Devin White type of impact with Micah Parsons. So
Yeah.
you got to be excited, man. The kid played lights out, and then see that he's focused on improving and holding himself accountable is special.
And already we're actually having all the people already thinking about this guy could be potential well, obviously he's definitely in the category of rookie of the year, but even even talking about defensive player of the year already,
Yeah,
like him and Trayvon, which we'll talk about as well.
Yeah.
But that it's just honestly, man, like it's just fantastic. Just
that's a good point. What I mean, besides Trayvon, what other defensive player is having the season of Micah Parsons? Like, I mean, you have TJ Watt, but I'm trying to think of anybody else.
Joey Bosa's not having the season.
Yeah, Garrett's not.
Aaron Donald's not having the season.
Yeah, no, like even well, actually, both the Bosa brothers are not having a good season. Like their production has fell down significantly. I'm just trying to think. I mean, even Quentin Williams, he's like for the Jet. Like even though he's playing for the Jets, he's having a good season, but he's not doing the impact as much what Parsons and Diggs are doing as a collective. So, yeah, I mean, something to really kind of be proud of right now. Absolutely, like just to show how well our defense is playing, and like I keep saying, man, like Parsons is still growing. Like you even said it yourself the other time, like Parsons is still growing, and that's the scary part. Like and.
Like, where is he going to be by playoff time? Like that's
no. What's he going to be like in 2 seasons time when he's fully developed? Man, and here's the what was I going to say there? It will come back to me. I was going to say something. It was a really good point I was going to make, but it will come back to me. But actually, I remember. So I don't know if you guys might have seen the wee interview he did. It's like there's got 11 games left. It's like 17 games or something like that. It's like there's it talks about how many games are left of the season. It's like it's like it's more than that. Like adding our 3 games. Sorry, not 17 games. It'll be 14 games because he's counting the Super Bowl and that. Like that's the attitude. It's just
different.
Attitude.
Yeah, it's different. We never really had a player talk. Well, I take that back. We had players talk like that, but a player who talks like that and backs
and
it
delivers.
up.
It talks the talk, but does not walk the walk. But he does both. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. No cute nicknames for this defense. It's just go out there, play football, and get the job done.
Much as I love the Hot Boys era, but it kind of got to the point now. It's like we kind of really call yourselves that when we're not producing much anymore.
Right.
So
just be the Cowboys defense. How about that?
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And I think I saw. I don't know if you guys saw this stat, but I think apparently Parsons is the first rookie to ever have 10 solo tackles and 4 tackles for a loss by a rookie in a game. I think that was one of the lines I saw. I mean, what he's doing is just it's ridiculous. It's not normal for a rookie, and it's barely normal for a defensive player of any variety to be doing stuff like that. So let's enjoy it whilst it's happening on the field.
Yeah.
I think again you pulled up the comment there, Paul. I mean, I think overall the defense really stepped up on Sunday, as you said. 1 of 13 third down conversions. And I think, to be fair, that started in the trenches.
Because going into the Vikings game, I felt like this was going to be our biggest test due to the balance of the Vikings offense with having Madison, having Cook, but having Jefferson, having Thielen. So they're going to be the first team that can really give us a taste of our own medicine. But to see our defense really step up and play the way they did, like it's refreshing because the Broncos don't have the capacity. I mean, so it's like not a lot of teams are able to really do what the Vikings were going to be able to do to us, and to see that how we step forward and really limited them. Yeah, it's different, man. It feels good as a Cowboys fan. It's a testament to Dan Quinn. I saw Joe just comment about Dan Quinn possibly getting a head coaching job. There might be offers, but hearing how Dan Quinn talked this offseason, he likes the simplicity of just being a defensive coordinator. You don't have to wear so many different hats. And I think that's where when he was in Atlanta, it kind of gets to you. I mean, you're dealing with player personnel. You're dealing like, I just want to coach the defense, teach the defense, and focus on this one thing. So I think that Dan Quinn's going to be a Cowboys coach, defensive coordinator for quite some time.
Honestly, if it was me, I would rather stick to being a positional coach. That would be my thing. Like
Right.
I would hate to imagine, like you were just saying, the stress, all the things in terms of bringing players in, the back and forth with the GMs and stuff like that. I would just like to just coach my boys and like if my group, wherever that position may be, focus on that and make them the best available to be. It's like less is more.
Right. Exactly.
Less is more.
And the money in Dallas is pretty much the same. So it's like, I might as well be a coordinator. Let Mike McCarthy deal with all this pressure, man. So I think Dan Quinn's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, so don't forget the Texas taxes as well.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's very true. But one of the highlights or one of the big points that I saw coming up, Adam Thielen, 78 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson, 21 receiving yards.
Yes.
Cousins only threw for 184 yards the whole game.
That's crazy. And it's just nuts. Right. Like, it's more so on the Jefferson side. I think he was targeted three times against Diggs, I believe. And and was it just one reception he only made?
One reception, yeah.
And it was like for 3 yards or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. That shut down one of their best players.
Yeah.
You know?
And another player that we have to be vocal about to really give his flowers, because I know a lot of Cowboys fans were out hunting him, but Anthony Brown's playing lights out. Like Anthony Brown has taken a huge leap forward and has impacted our defense. So I know week 1 versus Antonio Brown, we was like, get rid of him, get him out of there.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Trust me, I was out there in Tampa, like, get him out of there. But he's really kind of settled a little bit, and he's playing great. Like I said, like he's one of like the top rated man coverage corners out there. So you add that alongside with Diggs, and then you also have Jordan Lewis who's playing well as well. So our secondary you're seeing improvement.
Mike just put that comment as you just said that there. Love the Jordan Lewis hat. Yeah, I think the whole stadium was like, oh,
yeah.
But for me, I think what encapsulated the game was the way the defense stood up after giving away the 3 penalties, goal line stand, and turned the Vikings back. I mean. They literally said, offense, take it away now. We've done what we can for you. I mean, I thought it was phenomenal.
There's hardly any fault you can really say what as an overall collective with this defense. Honestly, it's just I'm just so excited to see how we're going to continue going forward, especially like a team like I know the Broncos might not have as much offensive weapons like Minnesota has, but even still, I'm just really looking forward to see how we're going to develop going after Christ, I couldn't even tell you this. Is it Teddy Bridgewater starting the quarterback? Into it?
Yeah, so it's going to be Bridgewater. I think from what I've been reading thus far, I think Jared Jeudy may be back this week for fantasy purposes. And then you have Sutton, you have Noah Fant, for the most part. But so they got some guys out there.
Noah Fant has gone to the COVID list. That's only broken the last hour.
Okay, well then you take him out of there as well. So then you pretty much have Jeudy, Sutton, and then you have Williams at the running back position. So I feel like our defense should fare well versus the Broncos this Sunday.
Yeah,
especially with Dak.
Yeah, just going to pull up this comment and just get your take on this.
Yeah, and this is what I've been trying to preach with Cowboys fans, and I think that a lot of people were too jaded to see it. As vocal as a lot of people have been about Jalen Smith, LVE has played just as bad, if not worse. And not only LVE, Keanu Neal has played poorly as well. So that's where I was saying, like, with the linebacker position, now since Jabril Cox is out of it, unfortunately, I think that other linebacker has to be addressed, but now we're past the trade deadline. Like, where do we go to really address it? Where we just got some decent guys. Now, granted, you can't have all pros at every level. Like, it'd be nice, but I mean, LVE has struggled. He's looked lethargic out there. He's looked lost, like Joe's mentioned. He's missed tackles. Keanu Neal, I think he's ranked like 26th graded in run defense, and so it's just like. It's really not that good. Now, the thing about it is that we play a lot of big nickel. So we've been using J-Ron Curse in the box a little bit more, which is helping alongside Micah Parsons. But yeah, I agree. LVE has struggled. Keanu Neal has struggled as well. But at this point, they're all we got. So,
Yeah. The kind of question I would have then, kind of leading on from that, is linebacker still a need, and is it something we need to address, say, in the 2022 draft or free agency period?
Always.
Yeah.
Because I always tend to think like, even though I'm a big advocate for defensive line, but you always tend to see more like injuries and off carts with linebackers more than you do with defensive linemen. It's because the speed they come in, especially in they work the butt off, having to do coverage as well in terms of running the blitz, making the tackles and that as well. So, and we kind of saw the wear and tear on a great that is Sean Lee. Like we saw over the years how gradually playing that position for so long and with the injuries that he picked up and how it can affect you. And it's linebacker can be a short career. It can be like touch wood, it never happens to any of our boys, but I'm using an example like Ryan Shazier as a really good example. Like the way he tackled that, and all it takes is one hit to the neck, and that and it's just the way how linebackers just do it. They just do it differently, and
Now, I wouldn't address it in the first round, but like later, second, third, there's a lot of that.
Well, look what we got this year, like
Jabril Cox, exactly. And so if you think about, because heck, here in Kansas City, Nick Bolton was the second round. So linebackers tend to slide a little bit. Like you can get some quality depth. So, but it's definitely an area that we need to address. Now, Parsons and Cox should be our core two for the foreseeable future. But just like Paul said, you're always going to need depth at the position. Absolutely. I don't think Van Der Esch is going to be back. And then the Keanu Neal, I'm not sure if he's going to be back off his 1-year deal as well. So we'll need to fill some of these holes, but we'll get to that, way after.
Yeah, absolutely. And like that, we'll be going on after the season, and I'm sure we can get took back to talk draft before draft day as well.
That's when the fun. That's when the fun starts. Well, actually, let me take that back, because this year I tell everyone the draft's in Vegas, man. So on draft day, I might not be doing no lines. I'm gonna be out playing blackjack and at the pool somewhere. You guys can just text me who we draft. And I'm like, I don't care, man. I'm at the blackjack table, man. Draft's gonna be fun, but
who knows, man? I may actually make my trip over this time.
Yeah, guys, come on out to Vegas, man.
Because I don't know if you're aware, but the amount of trouble I've had over the past 2 years, I've actually have a backlog of flight vouchers to use up, so I might actually take a wee trip to Vegas. Who knows?
Hey, there you go. I'm definitely going to be out there for the draft, man. So come out, and then we'll just talk about it the next day. Who we draft, like
we're like, who did we draft?
Yeah. What? Linebacker. Okay, I like him.
I think the one thing we can be sure of is there's no way we're doing a 24-hour draft show this year.
No, man.
No.
Man.
I was so
surprised you guys still aren't tired from that, man. So, well, actually, since we'll be in Vegas, we might be up for 24 hours. We probably could.
Oh, God. I don't want, like, as much as I had so much fun doing that show, but I would never want to do that ever again. like I know it was such a great cause. We managed to raise a good was it £200? That's
great.
Yeah,
that's about just under $300 roughly. So that was to raise charity for our medical staff for the hospitals in the UK for dealing with the whole COVID stuff. So, but that was. But I don't want to do that again.
No, not this year. We'll be at the pool, man. We're at the pool.
Pool sure.
Pina coladas sound good.
Well, before we wrap up the show, I think we need to give our special teams a little bit of love.
Oh, mate.
Um,
Yeah, definitely. Especially when I mentioned Luke Gifford earlier. Honestly,
yeah,
go back and watch the clips where he completely decimated the bloody center line of that special teams kickoff. I was like, oh, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Oh man.
Mike, you might be on your own for that, son.
Oh, mate, you're gonna send me to my grave, honestly.
Yeah, but there's one guy, as I say,
Go ahead.
we do love to give special teams a little bit of love, but one guy that hasn't been mentioned by us all season, Jake McQuaid, our long snapper. I mean, we had LP for so long, and Jake McQuaid has come in, and there's been no drop off. Everything has been perfect from him, you know.
Yep.
So let me ask you guys this when it comes to our punting game. Are you guys surprised we haven't seen all the theatrics in our punt game that we saw last year? Because I sit back and wait. I'm like, okay, well, here comes the fake punt, or here comes your first, and it's like, oh, we're just punting the ball away. And so I'm not sure if Bones really just simmered down a little bit with the aggressiveness because it blew up in our face last year. But I was kind of expecting a lot more this season than I'm seeing. I was like, okay, well,
yeah, like it's definitely been toned down as we go further into the season. That's for sure.
Yeah, maybe Jerry and Steven gave him a little talk, like, "Hey, man, cut all that." After that Thanksgiving game last year, they're probably just like, "All right, we're done with all that." I'm actually surprised, you know.
Yeah, but Andrew has brought up the point there. Obviously, 4th down false start. That was probably our only bad point during the game, and unfortunately, Bradley and I has found himself waived today. So
I was screaming. I was screaming like, how could you? You know, you got to be more aware in those things. And I mean, we haven't talked about them, but special teams, Zerline, those little small penalties like that can be costly in the playoffs, and so we need to clean that up. Like, you should know as a football player, it's 4th and 5. Like, do not go. If anything, go backwards. Like, don't come. But I know Bones likes to be more aggressive. But in that situation, like, no, just let them punt to CeeDee Lamb and keep the field possession. But you know, but Bradley and I, maybe that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and they're just like, all right,
for me, because Bradley and I was positioned more inside. He had no right to jump off like that.
Right.
Let the ball be snapped. Like all you need to do is get the hand up,
right,
or that's whatever. Like. Oh, sorry, that's field goal. Sorry, that's field goal I'm talking about. What am I talking about?
But don't be a hero. Don't be a hero.
Yeah,
I know we got the block punt the other game, but it's like, man, just let CD get the ball back. You know, there's always a holding call or excessive blocking on punts. Like, just let us get the field position. Like, don't be a hero. But you know, it's parts of it. But I feel like Zerline is still my biggest question mark because it's a rushing roulette. Like, it was to the point where, like, after, you know, if Zeke didn't get that first down, I still wasn't confident that he's going to make the kick and we're going to go into overtime. So I was thinking, man, we should go for it, because going through what we've been through in Tampa and so many other games, it's just like a coin flip, and it's really scary. But you know, what can you do?
I find that begs the question, because I think, like, how many, like, Zerline is in the 2nd year of his contract, I believe. Is that correct? Do you think we might potentially part ways for a cheaper option next year?
They love the leg for some reason, man. They love the leg.
I know. Well, Bones loves the leg for sure, because he's dealt with him back in LA. But I don't know, man. I think.
Because what was the other kid that we had?
Oh God, Kai Forbath.
Forbath, like I liked him because he was consistent. You know what I'm saying? I don't need the big 57-yard, 63-yard leg. Like, just get me consistency from 45 and 50. Like, that's all I need. And so,
okay, Mike, I will answer that straight off the bat. 6. That's how I feel about Zerline.
2.
Yeah,
2.
About that.
Like, I'd say, like, you'll make more than 50% of his kicks. I know that. But
you just never know which one. Like, you just never know. You know, is it going to be an extra point?
It seems to be the more easier ones he messes up, but the more clutch ones he'll do, no problem.
Yeah,
like, it's like pure straight down the middle. Like,
Tampa was the perfect example of it. It was just like, all right, like or even the Chargers game. It was like, okay, right down the middle, but you're going to sink a 33. You know, like, And so that's the part where I don't like, because it's like you feel like there should be consistency. And like, okay, we're in field goal range. Let's chalk that up, 3 points.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, wrong. So, and I think, you know, from Cowboys fans, we were just so blessed with Dan Bailey for so many years.
Yeah.
Like, you never had to, like, you know,
I miss him so much.
you're just in field goal range. You go grab a beer, like, okay, that's 3. I'll be right back. You know, drink break, and Dan Bailey's good. But now it's with Greg. You're holding on every little kick, every little extra point. So I'll give it a 2 at this point.
I'm just laughing, Tuck, as you were saying everything there about Greg the Leg. All I could hear in my head was Brett Maher.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was
Bye.
on repeat.
Yeah. Maurer was another one. You just can't trust him. I mean, and it changes the course of a game. So, you know, but it's worked out thus far. I mean, I feel like he's going to be our kicker. So let's hold on tight, Cowboys Nation. Like,
yeah.
I think that is pretty much all we have, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about from the game.
No, I just think it's a great win. Great. I mean, I think the right decision was made to like rest up Dak and stuff like that. But previously, before, it would have been nice to let him play. But I think with the games how we've got ahead of the schedule, like Kansas City and stuff like that, I don't want to kind of risk that. But yeah, I think great win. Let's move on to Denver.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this, because I saw Gil Brandt. He actually tweeted this. Would you rest Dak again this week?
For the Broncos game, probably not. For the Falcons, if he's feeling a bit niggly again, then yes. Like, I think the Broncos game, it'll be a more tougher game to win.
Yeah.
And we would need Dak in that scenario. But where's hello, Christy. Welcome to the show. We're just about to finish up, unfortunately. But yeah, I think like if the schedule was flipped around and we had Atlanta next, then I would say, yeah, maybe just kind of like maybe potentially rest them up again. But the Broncos, we need to play that. We need to play him again.
Yeah, I'm a fan of playing him. If he's ready to go, and it seemed like Dak was ready to go. So he went with the intent to play versus the Vikings. They just shut him down last minute. So if he's able to go, he'll be at practice. Let him play, because every game is going to be important as we try to get to, home field advantage, getting bye weeks and different things like that. So, yeah, forward momentum. So,
yep.
Absolutely. So before we get out of here, Tuck, we'll throw it over to you and let you promote your own stuff and let everyone know where they can get hold of you and what you do.
Well, hey guys, like I said, as always, it's always a pleasure to chime in with you guys. And Paul, like I said, we're going to link up here soon. So thanks for having me on once again. Like I said, we definitely got to get you on my channel. We just got to work out these time differences, man. But we'll definitely do it here soon. But yeah, you guys can follow me at my YouTube channel, Cowboys Fans Only. I appreciate all support there. Also follow me on Twitter at JTuck151. Appreciate all the Cowboys fans and interaction there. And you can always go to cowboysfansonly.com, our official merch store. I know I keep promising new stuff coming. I just been lazy, man. I'm tired, y'all. Like, I haven't had the creativity flowing right now, but I'm definitely.
Are you kidding me, Talk? You've got one of the best T-shirts ever made. It's Micah Parsons Metallica T-shirt.
So, have you ever been like, you've been drinking and all of a sudden you just like made like a fabulous food, but you wake up and you don't know how you did it? It was just good that night. That's how that Micah Parsons shirt really just emerged, man. I was just in here drinking one night. And I was like, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do dog. And I woke up the next day. I'm like, oh, I love that, And so people like, make another one, make it. I'm like, I just can't.
So I really need to. So where did you get the Metallica influence from for that?
I was watching music videos, and I just saw it, and I was like, I want to do like a rock star, Rockstar type thing with like just dog and chain and gritty, and just had a few drinks here in the middle of the night.
Guys, be sure to go and check out as much of this. It is absolute fire. So be sure to go and check it out.
Thank you. Yeah, cowboysfansonly.com. So I just gotta get back in that vibe, man. But it's hard because I'm, now on the weekends I travel for games and going back and forth. I don't have the time to sit down and sometimes I'll try it. I'm like, not really. I feel like the Parsons short really changed the raised the bar for me now. It's a new standard, man. So, but definitely, I'm gonna have things in there soon.
But yeah, guys, be sure to go and check out JTuck, and also, guys, be sure to go and check out our other friends across the board. Like, as you can see, JTuck's channel, Cowboys Foreign Zone, is right there, bang in the middle. We've got like Big Game James, Cowboys Y'all, Bluff City Cowboys to do the Cowboys Zone, Cowboys for Life, which is our good friend Sid. All the guys from 105 The Fan, hanging with the boys. I'm just name dropping here, but guys, be sure to go and check all these amazing guys, content creators within Cowboys Nation. They do an extremely fantastic job, and yeah, the more content, the more you're well informed, the more you get to just be more part of the team, you know. So be sure to go and check everyone out, guys.
Yeah, it's the good quality content, because no one's going to know our team better than us. You know, if you were to go to ask Stephen A. Smith what's his thoughts on Connor McGovern, he'll look at you like you're crazy. So it's like, well, if I was to call in to Stephen A. Smith, like, hey, Stephen A. Smith, you know, J Tuck, huge fan of the show. What's your thoughts on Terrence Steele versus Lyle Collins? Who should you're probably like, what are you talking about? But that's why you got to come to the content creators, because we are in the community. We know what's going on with our team, man, and you guys do an incredible job alongside the others that were just listed earlier.
Valenti, I can ask that for you right now. Yes, JTuck does ship it out to the UK. I've purchased a shirt myself, so
there
you go.
International,
my friend.
And it was fairly quick, right? I know. Canada, they had something where it was kind of held up at the border, but
I got it within a week.
Yeah. So boom.
Yeah.
Yes. So and that's international shipping now.
We will put a link up so everyone can grab stuff from JTuck. Like, you know, we always want to make sure that we support our own in the content creation world. Like, you know, so please do make sure once we get that link up to go and purchase some goods from JTuck. You will not be disappointed, folks.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here, we have got to pay the bills ourselves, and to be fair, Andrew has been saying it for hours. Go and check out Cowboys Experience and Barry Griffiths and his team for your meet and greet, your tailgate, and your game day packages. Paul, take it over from me.
Yep, sure. So, guys, for the Ultimate Cowboys Experience, for the, like Brian was saying, for the meet and greet, tailgating, and game day packages, be sure to go and check out CowboysExperience.com for the so you get to meet players like Michael Gallup, as you can see, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, and also we've actually got on board, and it's now official, Michael Parsons is part of the Cowboys Experience team, where you can meet him on certain game days. We don't know the exact dates for what days he's going to appear, but he's now on board. So, but guys, if you use the discount code UK Cowboys, Brian, what do we get?
You get free stuff.
You get free
stuff. As our own Rich Jones always says, don't be a clown, get free stuff and chocolate pudding.
Oh man, it's been a good show tonight. Good show.
Thank you guys for having me.
So
what time is it your guys' time?
It's almost 10:30.
10:30.
Oh yeah, so
I'm just going to be happy by next week. I'm going to be in a much better time zone.
That's what I'm happy about. You have to get adjusted, man. Yeah, don't be sleeping out there at the tailgate, man.
Trust me, man. I've got plenty of time to recover from this. Yeah, I'm coming over for a whole month.
Oh, okay, yeah, you'll be well adjusted. By then. So what games are you doing? What are you doing?
So I'll be Kansas City, Thanksgiving, and the New Orleans game.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we'll be 2 weekends back to back, Kansas City, and then the Raiders Thanksgiving. So we're gonna have some fun, man.
Absolutely. So, as we say, go follow JTuck. Pick up all of his social media. Mike and the guys will be here 9 o'clock UK and Irish time on Thursday. I think it'll be 4 o'clock in the East Coast and 5 o'clock Texas or 3 o'clock Texas time.
Yes.
For Thursday, with the daylight saving hours having happened last weekend here in Ireland and the UK. So it's a good night from me, folks.
Good night from me.
All right, guys. Thanks again. Go Cowboys.
Good night.